Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Listen, welcome to the channel. My name is Dr. Kesha, and I'm here to share with you some much needed information. I think it's important that we all know it has been reported that they have identified the gunman who was responsible for the attempt to harm former President Donald Trump. Okay, so this is a part two of the attempted assassination with the gunman identified. His name is Matthew Crooks. Matthew Crooks. And there is the photo there. All right, so what we're going to do, and you'll see obviously the photos side by side, uh, police and maybe FBI, um, the body there of this young man, very young man, by the way, whose name happens to be Matthew Crooks. He is 20 years old, according to FBI, from the Bethel Park, Pennsylvania area. According to the report, and this is according to my source is actually New York Times. I'll be sure to cite the source. They dropped it this morning. But it is said in the article that I think Bethel Park, PA, is roughly about 40 miles from Butler, the small city in western Pennsylvania. And I believe that's where the rally was held. All right. Now, here it says in the article that the shooter's motive is unknown. The shooter was not able to get close to Trump. Obviously, he was on the roof there, but he was not able to get close enough to Trump. What's interesting about this particular, description, according to the FBI, is that this is not only a young man that's of 20 years of age, that's from relatively close to the area, but he's also a registered Republican. And I think out of all of it, I think that that's kind of interesting. You know what I mean? At least to me, it's definitely interesting. I find that very interesting that he happens to be a registered Republican. Not quite sure, again, what the motive would be. There is no indication. They're going to have to obviously take a deeper dive, into, what his motive may be, checking with his parents. And I mean, he's only 21 years of age. Let's see. Wow, that's looks pretty bad. Some people believe it's fake. I don't know. What do you think? I think the young man happens to be, ooh, okay, you see that? Hmm. I don't know who that is, but that appears to be the young man who was the gunman, the gun person. Here it says that the attack killed one spectator at the scene. So there was someone else that passed away as well. I know that there are people that are questioning, is this real? You know what I mean? Is this something that they're just putting on because they're just wanting to win, the White House so bad and whatever? But according to the article, there was one spectator at the scene that was killed and two others who were critically injured. So um, I think someone said it was a rubber bullet or something. I don't know what kind of damage a rubber bullet can do to someone, but obviously someone passed away um, at the hands of this shooter. So I don't know like what damage a rubber bullet can do, but it obviously had the ability to harm to the point of unaliving someone because someone was unalived. Okay, in addition to two um, others being critically injured, and this is according to officials. And it also says in the article that Trump had blood on his face as he was escorted from the stage, and we saw that he was hit in his ear because even during the speech, I mean, we showed that he was hit in the ear. Let me try to see if I can pull up the article so that you can read it along with me. I think I changed my password. Oh gosh. Let's see. Hold on, y'all. I did change my password. So it's verifying me. All right, good. That worked. All right, so let me share the article with you. Make sure you see what I see. Awesome. All right, so let me try to make it as big as possible so that you can see. I guess I can keep myself right over to the side. This is my emails. Y'all be trying to look at my emails, okay? All right, so I obviously get notifications from the New York Times, okay? All right, so this is as of today, early this morning, they dropped this email, and here it says the political violence, that's the title of it. And there you will have the information regarding the gunman, his age. Obviously, I shared the picture, so he looks to be Caucasian, white. And here it indicated that he was registered as a Republican, though records show that he had donated money to a liberal voter turnout group. So, but you know what? Everyone's like, you may be registered as one political party and you may support other, initiatives. Like that's not weird um at all. Here's the information regarding the one spectator that was uh, unalived, and then two others that are in critical condition. And then it speaks of Trump's condition. Now, here it says that the assassination attempt added to a shocking and violent turn to a presidential campaign because, to be honest with you, I don't think many of us have seen, you know, anything like this before. There's been threats, there's been all kinds of stuff, right? But we've never actually, seen an actual attempt be made in quite some time. So I think people are very sad and disheartened that this happened. What's amazing to me, because I was kind of feeling like, the last election that something like this would come up because it felt like it was brewing. So I'm just kind of surprised that it kind of happened now. Like it's kind of, I mean, I felt that because it was so divisive. I mean, I felt like it was just so divisive, even to the point where, remember, it was, January 5th happened. So I'm surprised that this is happening now because it doesn't seem to be as divisive. It seems to me that, especially the Dems, they don't seem to be happy with, who's leading right now. They want someone else because of the obvious decline, you know what I mean? In the cognitive functions and things of that nature. And just him slowing down naturally. He's aging. That's just the reality of aging, you know what I mean? So I think most people want fresh, new, leadership. Someone that they believe is competent, someone with a fresh vision that represents their ideology, and et cetera, and so on. So, and when they were debating Trump and Biden, I think that both parties were like, throw the whole presidential race away. I don't think anybody was happy. You know what I mean? So it's not as contentious. Like they were debating about golf, like who's the best player. Like, so I just don't get that vibe, other than people just not being happy with, the candidates that have been selected, to lead the parties. I mean, other than the people being disgruntled, but not as it was like last presidential election disgruntled though. People are more like, oh Lord, I don't know what we gonna do, that kind of like more worried and concerned, not necessarily disgruntled. Like I feel like the last time when there was this thing of all the stolen elections. Like that's personally when I thought it was going to pop off. If anything was going to pop off, it was going to happen then. So, and then it was going to happen on the other team, not on this team, So I'm honestly, I'm really taken back by this. I'm really taken back by all of it. So it is shocking that it turned violent and happened to come from their party. It's weird. Here it says one colleague, Simon Levine, was at the rally during the shooting. Trump had just started to talk about immigration in his stump speech when several shots rang out from the bleachers to the right. And it sounded weird because even in the video, it didn't sound like what you would typically hear for shooting, but I think it was just the type of gun that he had. And I think that most of us, if we're just honest, are not just accustomed to being around guns shooting. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't think that we're going to be able to recognize when we hear sounds. When I hear firecrackers, like during 4th of July, when everybody's setting it off, I'm looking around to see if there's any guns being shot. That's because I've heard gunshots before. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. This doesn't sound like firecrackers. So I think that the average individual probably haven't heard gunshots all like that. So again, that's the conversation that's going. It didn't even sound like a real gunshot. Have you heard what real gunshots sound like? Have you lived around communities or been to a gun range where practice or whatever? I mean, I think most people that are commenting on the sound of the gun, alleged gun or whatever that was used, obviously it was some type of weapon of sorts. We don't know what type of gun unless it's in this article. But I think that's partly the problem. I think that most of us didn't know what was going on. And I think, again, we're trying to determine and make all these guesstimations and estimations, and we're providing commentary and our thoughts. But unfortunately, we have these, we draw these conclusions, but we don't have enough information. And then again, I get the fact that people want to say something, you know what I mean? Because it's historical, they feel like, especially if they're on social media platforms, that they just have to say something, right? Right or wrong. They just want to be in the mix. They just want to be in the conversation. But to me, there's nothing worse than being loud and wrong. To me, that's just bad. That's just not just bad. That's bad, right? If you're loud and wrong. And so, yeah. So here we have somebody actually being hurt, like unto, being unalive, right? And then we have a few people, being in a critical condition. So obviously something happened. Something happened. And I know that we don't want to believe that, but I believe that if people actually pass away, then something obviously happened. And it was in a crowd of people where all their eyes, yes, was on Trump, but also just like there was some interviews that I saw. There was a guy, he was a redhead guy, red beard. He was identifying that he saw the shooter and he was trying to get the FBI's attention and all these things, and he said that for whatever reason, you know, um, he couldn't get their attention, or they didn't know what he was saying, or they didn't know. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. This is so far fetched. I think from most of us, but being that they're in the business of killing people and protecting people, I think they were taken back too. I think they just did not anticipate this happening. I mean, I don't even think they anticipated it happening. So yeah. Going back to the article, let's see. So he started talking about immigration, and several shots rang out from the bleachers to his right. Everyone immediately ducked, he said, myself included. and there were two bursts of fire. That's what I'm saying. It did sound weird. First three shots, then five. Mm. Trump put his head to his ear because he got hit. I saw that in the video. Then ducked before Secret Service agents rushed to the stage. That was interesting. There was quite a bit of a delay, an obvious delay. Rushed to the stage to shield him. And interesting enough, being that he got hit, if he wasn't, I don't want to say he was a lousy shot because obviously he shot a few folks and hit the target. So the mere fact that he hit him, but he's okay, that to me is a miracle because a few inches, you know what I mean? We would be having a different type of conversation right now. So yeah. And this is my thing. Like, if this can happen here, then guess what? It can happen anywhere. So that's my concern. My concern is I'm concerned about humanity, like people in general. I'm not a registered rep. I'm not a registered dem. I'm independent, and so, hey, when it comes to that political stuff. But at the same time, I'm a humanitarian. Like I'm a people person. I love people, and I want to see the good in people. I don't want to see the bad in people. That's why a lot of my videos I'm often on the opposite end of the spectrum or the conversation because I don't jump on bandwagons and you know, just pile up on people as the masses would want to or like to do. I'm usually the voice of reason. So, with that being said, it just makes me feel sad that we have to go here. Um he put his hand behind his ear, he ducked, and then it says here that as they begin to move him off the stage, Trump told them to wait defiantly, pumping his fists with blood on his face while the crowd chanted USA. Actually, if you were to go back to the audio and listen to it, he says, "Wait, let me put on my shoes." So he said a lot more than that, but that's okay. They just want to pull out the patriotic piece. I get it, but he did say, "Wait a minute, let me put on my shoes." So I don't know. Somehow his shoes came off his feet. And he wanted to put his shoes back on before they whisked him away. You know what I mean? So, but of course, they're not going to have that there because that sounds interesting. So they just wanted to focus on the patriotic component. And then it says it's difficult to imagine a moment that more fully epitomizes Mr. Trump's visceral connection with his supporters. Um, yeah. Of course, they're there to hear him. So I'm sure that they would be excited about him. And of course, they don't want anything wrong. They don't want anything to happen to him or anything to be wrong with him. So the mere fact that he was able to get up and be responding and be lively and wanting to fight. And yeah, that excited them a lot when they saw that. Here it says Trump said on social media that he had been shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of his right ear. Law enforcement agencies have not given specifics about what they believed happened. And then it says here that the veteran Times photographer Doug Mills was also at the scene. I could see blood on Trump's face, he said. I kept taking pictures. As tough as he looked in that one pic with his fist looking very defiant, the next frame I took, he looked completely drained. Of course, he's older, and I don't believe he anticipated being shot at. I don't believe that. I don't believe that it was like fake. So I think it's good that the Veterans Times photographer Doug Mills give his take, which the truth of his take was that he looked completely drained, very, very shocked, right? Very, very, very shocked. And then it says that this photograph by Doug appears to capture the path of the bullet. I will click on it, but let me see where it goes. It's the path of the bullet. Uh okay. So it won't let me show the path of the bullet. So I can't do it. Sorry, y'all. Because I have to donate if I have to, in order to get more information. The suspect fired shots from an elevated position outside the rally. The Secret Service said officials also said that they had recovered an AR-15 type rifle near his body. So obviously that was the weapon of choice, the AR-15 type. Videos posted on social media and verified by the Times showed the suspected gunman lying motionless on the roof of a building around 400 feet north of the stage. I saw that as well. And that's that. And then there are some reactions. And then there's some more coverage, and then there's commentary. All right. So this is an article that was sent to my email early this morning, about 38 minutes ago, from the New York Times, dated for July the 14th, 2024. What say you? What say you? What do you think about this young man being a registered Republican? Yeah, I find that very sad and weird and strange. Yeah. What say you? What do you think? Do you think that it's all fake? Do you think that, they've made this up, or they're trying to conjure something up to try to make the numbers go up and all that stuff? Do you believe that to be true? I don't know. But you know what? Time will tell. Time will tell. Good grief. Time definitely will tell. Will tell. Let's see. Yeah. I don't know. He doesn't, I know that he wants to exude strength in this moment and in this hour, but he looks disheveled. He looks shocked, just like the veteran photographer indicated in the interview. He does look a little bit taken back, and rightly so, right? I mean, if you just was shot at, it's not like you were grazed. He was actually hit, and if he would have been a better shot, he would have been, if obviously when you come with something like that, you come with the purpose to harm indefinite, you know what I mean? You get what I'm saying. So, obviously he wasn't successful. He was trying, but he wasn't as successful as he desired to be. Um, and that's really, to God be the glory. I want to give God the praise for that. And I think that look is one of shock and of awe, and it's of, like, is this really happening right now? You know, Let me blow this up. Nope. Access denied. I'm just trying to, nope, it won't let me do it. Sorry. Yeah, it won't let me blow it up. Yep. So that seems to be the situation. And there was something else that, okay. Okay, so I guess this is his voter registration information, if you can see it. Let me see if I can blow it up, make it larger. That's the young man's name, his address. I guess they tried to do a little bit of protecting, because I don't know if he stays with someone or with family or by himself, but his date of birth, his gender, obviously, the last time he voted, and his date of registration. So he's only 20 years old. So obviously he only voted a few times, but he's affiliated with the Republican Party, and that's what makes it That's what makes it interesting, because you would think that if you're gonna pull something off, like if you're gonna fake something, you would think that you would choose someone to play a part. Number one, he's also been deleted from the timeline. So there's two people that have been deleted from the timeline, an innocent bystander and the gunman. And then you have two people that are injured. If I'm going to sign up for a part, if I'm going to play a part, if I'm going to play a role and you're going to give me X amount of dollars to do this, it's not going to be worth my life being taken, right? And I'm sure the other persons whose life was taken, I'm sure they didn't sign up for their life to be erased from the timeline either, right? Injured people, okay, they're in critical condition. So we don't know what the extent of their injuries are, but it's not worth being handicapped. Okay, so and then another thing is, if I'm going to play a role and I'm going to play a part, I'm going to make sure that I'm vetted and I'm going to be registered to an opposite party. I'm not going to be associated or affiliated with the same party. Does that make sense? So this I'm speaking to those that believe that this is a hoax. If you're going to do a hoax, this was not great at planning. Just FYI. If you're going to do something, then, make sure you really look good, right? By making sure you're trying to blame your opponents. You're trying to blame the other side or blame another party or a non-affiliate party so that you can say, hey, they hate us that much but that's not what it's given. That's why I believe the identity was not released immediately, even down to his race, because you know how they do. You know how they do. They immediately, and it's this young man, I guess when he was young, there, it's just sad because he's only 20 years old. Just heartbreaking. Um, yeah. So just a lot going on. So this is unfortunate. You know what I mean? This is definitely unfortunate and definitely going to be marked in the chronicles of history, depending on who tells the story, how they do. Some people like to be history revisionists. I wouldn't be surprised if they said, yeah, he got upset and he ran off stage and he took that gun and he made sure, that person would never shoot anyone again. But here you see that wasn't the case. They were there to make sure that he was safe. And yeah, I mean, he has to be really disappointed in them. I know I would be, because he got hit. If it would have like went over his head, if it would have like hit the podium, if it would, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to be part of something, let's say, they did kind of curate this pretend event and try to, again, do, this whatever hoax, whatever. You're going to hit the podium. You're going to hit everything else but me. Like, I'm not going to take one for the team. Like, I'm just not going to do that. Number one, unless you are a really good marksman, if you're a really good gun person and you can hit somewhere where, it can heal fast or whatever. But I don't know, y'all. Y'all gonna have to sell me that one, because that one's a hard sell after seeing all the pictures. But I think that a lot of people didn't see all the pictures and stuff. I saw the picture of the gunman laid across lifeless. I seen it previously. And then I've heard conversation with regards to his ID. So I think that people that do have these conspiracies, or they feel as if it's a hoax, or that they're putting on to try to get, ratings or whatever the case may be, or just that his points can go up in this presidential race. I don't think they are taking into consideration these factors, because it really looks as if their party is unstable and they're imploding. That's what it looks like. It doesn't, even though he responded, he put it on the front, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you have to look at who did the shooting and you have to say to yourself, well, this is an affiliate. Like, this is a person that associates with your party. What's going on with your party? You know what I mean? It seems like it's imploding. If you can't lead your party, then can you or are you really ready to lead the country? Because right now, people are just, again, they're creating a clear line between this guy and that guy. So it's going to be hard to win over people that are just against you. So, and this again, it creates some level of weakness, because in this day and age especially, you need someone that can bring people together. It's so important because we already have enough wars abroad. And what we don't want is a war on, at home. We already have enough going on right now. We have been in a cold war in America, a war of words and of ideologies, but it's definitely been a cold war amongst political sides and stuff like that. So this is just interesting how this is not one party against the other. It's a party that's imploding. You know what I mean? The infighting within themselves, and it's come to a head. So this is not, you can't really use this as some type of you know what I mean? Some political clout. You can't use it because it doesn't work. It would have worked if the person would have been a Democrat registered or independent or a non-voter. You know what I mean? A person that is not registered. So, I guess we're just gonna have to see where it goes. He doesn't look confident in that picture. Just saying. He doesn't look confident. I'm trying to see if this blows up a little bit. I guess he's using his shirt to rub his ear. Hmm. And then everybody's got their phones out. Did you notice that? This is my first time noticing it. And then you have one lady smiling, like, what on earth? I don't know if it's just the sun. And you know how you respond to the sun if it's so bright and in your face and you're just kind of like squinting and it's causing your, cheeks to raise up and your mouth to kind of expand a little bit where it may looks like you're smiling. I don't know. But it's just interesting. The people are just kind of like on their phones and capturing the moment, and they don't even seem to be like concerned. Like, I don't see faces of concern in this crowd. Maybe it's in the crowd off to the side or something, but in this particular picture, I don't really see. I see maybe the lady in the red. Maybe the lady in the red. Maybe she. Well, a lot of people are wearing red, but the lady in between the lady with the black and the blue, right there, she's holding her mouth. She looks concerned. There's a couple of faces, but overall, everyone else just kind of like looking and trying to capture the moment. Like, it's just really strange to me. Even while the gunshots were going on, the people in the front really didn't move much at all, which is dangerous, but they didn't even like duck. They were just sitting there. And one person was standing up like, yo, anytime you hear gunshots, you got to get down low. And these people were just, I don't know. I guess they felt protected or felt close to his protection, but those men and women are assigned to protect Trump, and they did not do a good job, by the way. If anything, I would be mad that I got touched, and I would fire them. I think somebody had a sign that says you're fired. Where is that sign at? Because my security team would be switched off. That they were compromised. Like, why weren't they on top of things better? You know what I mean? They were too slow. I don't know, but in my opinion, he shouldn't have been touched. They even after he got hit, it took them a few seconds to get up there. They didn't get after he got hit and he hit his ear, they still didn't move. They didn't move fast enough. Now, I'm not a trained, police officer or FBI agent or anything like that, or just some type of security. I'm not trained at all, but they are trained, and I would assume that their eyes are supposed to be on him and their ears are supposed to be to the ground so that they can get information as to what's going on. And to my understanding, based on the reports so far that I've gathered, a gentleman, again, he was a redhead gentleman, red beard. He was literally saying, he stood up for about 3 to 4 minutes saying, there's somebody on the roof with a gun. So I don't know where where the disconnection was, where the miscommunication lied, why they didn't pick that up, why that wasn't transmitted, why they weren't warned before the man started shooting when they were being told that there was a potential threat in the vicinity and nobody caught the T. Like, I'm trying to understand that. And like I said, I'm the reason why it's not like I'm caping or anything like that, because I'm not registered as a Republican, nor do I plan to vote for one in this season, in this political season. Okay. I'm not registered as a Democrat. All right. I'm registered as an independent. So, that's where my allegiance pretty much lies, because I'm not in agreement with any of the parties, unfortunately. So I don't really have, you know, a good stake in the game. I mean, I'm hoping one of the third party candidates get enough where they can be on every ballot, but it's still a work in progress. So I'm hoping, for the best, but I'm saying that to say I'm not caping for him or for Biden, because none of those men are my choice or my preference at all. But they are human beings. And I feel like that once you set a precedent, you may embolden other people. So that's my concern. I don't want, how they have copycats, they call them. I don't want that to spark something within someone else to say, hey, I'm just gonna just go and take the law into my own hands, or take the thing into my own hands and bring about change. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that. So I'm concerned about that. Yeah, it looks pretty bad. And what if it went through his ear? You know? Yeah. So just some food for thought. Just food for thought. Um I'm back. Yeah, the email came. I booted myself out on accident. It's kind of early and I really need to go to bed now. I know it's super early, but late. But I'm just saying, I just wanted to share this, because I literally just got it. Now it's been about less than an hour ago. So I just wanted to share the article. I'll be sure to leave the link in the description so that you can go check it out. Um, yeah, I think I should be able to do that. Like I said, it was sent to my email. So you can go to New York Times for yourself, and I'm sure that you'll be able to see the article. But it was sent to my email, so that might be difficult to do. Let me click on it and see if it takes me. No, it doesn't take me outside of the email, unfortunately. So go check it out. So go to the New York Times. It's called The Morning, and go check it out. It's by the staff of The Morning. All right. So go check it out. You'll see the article there online. And give me your thoughts. Like, do you still believe it's fake? If you're one of those ones that believe that, they concocted something, they made this up, just so that they can get extra points and, potentially lead, in this, and gain some type of momentum. Do you think it's that, or do you think that, this is serious and, he legit got hurt, and it should be concerning to especially all the candidates, especially at these rallies, and you're going to need some really good security, and you're going to maybe have to manage, where you do your campaign stumps, in terms of venues. If it's outdoors and open, maybe you're going to have to, I don't know, have people go through metal detectors or something. I don't know. I think we don't want to do anything different than what we're traditionally accustomed to. You know what I mean? When it comes to rallies, we want big crowds, especially Trump. He's ever since he got the White House the first go around, you know how he used to brag on the numbers and stuff like that. He's a numbers guy. So he wants to impress people with the large crowds and that sort of thing. But unfortunately, the way your security team worked in this situation, I would not trust them in a too large unless it's indoors. You know what I mean? Maybe you can try indoors. Outdoors cheaper, it is cheaper to get a venue. It is more expensive, but isn't your life worth it? Isn't your life worth protecting if it's indoors? At least in an indoor situation, you can have metal detectors set up and preferably, everybody can be checked if need be. You have to take precautions, then take precautions. Like you shouldn't just, assume this is just a lone wolf situation. Okay, the person has been gunned down. All right, we shouldn't have any issues anymore. Copycats. They're going to see, oh, he was successful. He got hit. Oh, so this is just that easy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know. I know for me, if it was me, I would take a couple steps back and we have to go to the drawing board and figure this out. And I would have to start fresh with a whole new detailing. I don't know. You can suspend them. I don't know. Because I mean, I'm sure he's formed relationships with some of these, with his detail. I'm sure he's formed relationships with them, and they probably know his secrets and they know him well. So I know that you don't want to just get rid of them so quick, because again, you don't know. Again, a lot of them are sworn to secrecy and stuff like that, but you never know. You never know. So you want to be careful how you treat people that know your secrets. Facts. Um, yeah. So I don't, he may just kind of whatever, but at the same time, maybe hiring more security. You know what I mean? Having security right there on stage with him. I'm sure that he's going to rethink how he's going to go about doing things going forward. I think that's the smartest thing to do is to kind of regroup and to re-strategize so that they can maybe try to do their best to avoid these types of things, even if it's plexiglass. You know what I mean? You can, if you happen to still do the outside venues, you can surround him with plexi get glass. And if you want like the people in the back to be behind you because of the optics, it just looks good in a photo to have a whole bunch of people with signs and all the support. It's visual. It's really great messaging when it comes to the marketing of Trump during this season. But have the crowd be farther back, farther away, but just have the camera person zoom in, so that it appears as if they're closer than what they really are. Like you're gonna have to do some movie magic with your pictures, bro. Like seriously, but the crowd can't be that close to me. And I would have like some type of plexiglass or some type of bulletproof situation on stage surrounding me, and then have an extra, you know, let's say an extra dozen security on staff to make sure they can just go throughout the facility, or be strategically placed so that they can really watch the crowd and to see if they notice anything suspicious. They're going to have to definitely rethink how they're going to do this moving forward. And even if that means, again, going about things differently, having people register in advance, doing background checks. Like, again, the young man, unfortunately, was 20 years old, and I'm sure he did not have a criminal background. More than likely, he probably didn't. He's so young, unless he was like juvie or something. You know what I mean? So even with that, that's not necessarily a telltale that this person is going to do something sinister at your event. So, I don't know. Prayers up for those that were critically in critical condition. Prayers up to the families, obviously, of the ones that have been deleted from the timeline. Prayers, seriously, prayers up for everyone. And also speedy recovery from, for Trump, and maybe hopefully it'll serve as a wake-up call. Like, tomorrow isn't promised, and even our today is not guaranteed. We just don't know how things are going to go. And so we have to trust in the one, and I have to point back to God, the one that knows. And so, he wants to ride with a party that seems to lean on, spiritual things and spiritual convictions. Then maybe he should lean on and begin to establish his own relationship with his creator, you know, um, because this world is it's really interesting. Even the energy online is different. It's so much negativity, so much negativity. I can remember just making comments on posts, just like, and then reading other comments and just people just snapping off or saying, just outlandish things and cussing people out for just no reason other than you just enjoying the moment and just kind of like posting something that you heard that was clever or something that you enjoyed, and somebody coming underneath your comment section and just calling you out and calling you out of your name and saying all these things and engaging with you um in a very toxic way. It's just a very toxic online, very, very toxic. It's just a bullying spirit. And so I just feel like it just starts from the head and just kind of trickles down. I feel like the heads really set the tone. And online, it's just been a while. It's really been toxic for quite some time. So I'm not surprised that eventually we will see this. You know what I mean? Eventually sparks would fly or something crazy would happen. And I know that, bringing up the Drake and the Kendrick beef and all this other stuff. Now, honestly, I believe the shooting that happened in Toronto at Drake's home, I believe that was staged. That I believe, because nothing ever came of it. It never came up again. There was no, back reporting, nothing, no information other than whatever the security business was, it was fake. Or no, it was Drake's. It was made up by Drake. Was the company that owned the security. Like, it was his, but it was under a fictitious name where you didn't know that the security company belonged to him. There's been no word about the person that was so-called shot. There was no word with regards to their health or where they are and things, and if they recovered and nothing. Drake has been traveling, back and forth to Canada and here and there and wherever, without, it seems seemingly without a care, never bringing up the shooting situation. We haven't. So I feel like that's fake. If you want to say something's fake, you know what I mean? I think they did it just to try to say, oh, hip hop, is cool with, you're gonna have these battle raps and stuff and all this dissing and stuff. Keep it on wax, keep it on wax. See, this is why I don't like this stuff, because people take it too seriously and then they end up doing something. Tupac, Biggie, da 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 da. Okay. I honestly believe that it was manufactured to take, to kind of like take the momentum off of what was going on, but it just didn't work. You know what I mean? So I don't believe, honestly, that this situation is that. I don't believe that they faked it, because I believe that it's just too much right now. I just, again, if he's going to do something like that, you know, he's going to make sure that he's all free and clear and that he's not touched, you know. And the mere fact that he was injured and somebody else, few people were unalived and a few people are currently in critical condition. If it was planned that way, that was a horrible plan. They should have did something different where the young man got away. and how they do. They try to manufacture an identity of the shooter. They could have said it could have been a black male, knowing that it's a predominantly white crowd, registered Democrat or, independent, or, he, or like he sent the donation to Bernie Sanders. Like, just, I mean, they could have just made up anything and everybody would have believed it. Like everybody would have believed it. But the mere fact that the reality of the situation is that this is a young man, happened to be a white male, young, very young, new to the political scene, who's registered as a Republican. Though he made a donation to some type of libertarian situation, that's neither here nor there. He still did not change his registration. He did not change it to some other party. He is registered as a Republican. He looks like a typical shooter. So it's like, all right, I think I've said enough. I think it's time for me to go rest now. I haven't had a chance to rest. So let me go take my rest. I just wanted to report on it. I know it's a lot. And again, people are going to believe what they want to believe. And listen, I'm a firm believer of personal rights. You have a right to say, you have a right to do, you have rights. So you have a right to freedom of speech. You can express yourself in the comment section. You have a right. I don't mind reading what you have to say. You don't have to agree with me. I'm okay with that. But where I draw the line is when people get disrespectful. I told y'all that it's very toxic. The online community, social media has been extremely too toxic for me, for my taste personally. I'm just going to be honest. And so, with that being said, if you don't agree, that's okay. Just be respectful. All right. Anyway. All right. All right. Just be respectful anyway. All right. So that's all that I got. Please don't forget to like. Feel free to leave a comment, share if you feel compelled to do so, and subscribe. I appreciate all that you do for this channel by being a help to us. It's our goal to make 500. It's our goal to make 1,000. Help us build this channel. I would love to do more content. I really would, especially if it's something that I'm passionate in. It just seems like there's so much going on in the world that it's just stirring me up to come on more. As long as, and it seems like that's not gonna go away. I feel like it's just the season that we're in. It's just a lot going on. So there's plenty to talk about. There's plenty of commentary that needs to be made. I believe I need that everybody's point of view needs to be heard, especially when you have, communities or groups of pools of people that follow bandwagons and they don't do their due diligence and they just report the first thing that they see without doing their due diligence. So if you want an alternative voice that likes to lean on the side of truth, right, with evidence base, let's say it that way, information, plenty of sources, then come on over here on this side. This is not the dark side, this is the light side. Come on over here and subscribe to the channel and help me to build so that I can do more and to share more and to, again, recreate, or I'll say respark, a more of a positive banter, right, to the social media space. I think we could use that, building more of a family-based community. We could use that. Not that you're fans, because I don't have any fans. I think we're all helpers of one another. I look at everyone as like an extended family. That's how I see it. I don't believe in all of that fan foolishness. No, I look at this situation as more like a family, an extension of a family. All right, so that's it. Let me call it quits. I'm exhausted. I truly am, and I think I'm ready to rest now. So be amazing, stay amazing, have a wonderful Sunday and the rest of the week. I think the next time you hear from me is for our 9 p.m. prayer on Wednesday night. Join me for that. We do pray live. So you're always welcome to leave a prayer request with us, with me. And we will be happy to oblige and to call you out in prayer. All right. Much love. And don't forget, let's pray for all of the candidates, all of our leaders, our political leaders, whether it's local, whether it's state, whether it's the government, the federal. let us continue to pray for one another. All right. So that's all I got. Have an amazing day. Until next time, God bless and God bless. Woo. And shalom.